Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Gonzo from Rise 41. And today I have this super fun video to record. And it's all about my impressions for the first time at the Arnold Expo, an event, the Arnold Classic 2026 edition. I'm going to give you some impressions as a first timer, some tips in case you've never gone so that you don't make the mistakes that I made and that you enjoy the time that you're there, because there's a lot to see, but it can be extremely overwhelming. I mean, everyone talks about the Olympia, but the Arnold Sports Festival is a completely different animal. And the Olympia is a championship show, sure, and it's got this tradition and whatever, and it's got its own way that it's run. And it's in Vegas, yada yada yada. But the Arnold is basically Comic-Con of strength sports. Okay, so it's not just bodybuilding. It's like bodybuilding, strongman, powerlifting, martial arts, arm wrestling, Olympic lifting. This is all happening at the same time with tens of thousands of people like packed into place. And if you're a lifter, a bodybuilding fan, or someone obsessed with performance and human optimization, like this guy, the Arnold is one of those events you should experience at least once for sure. But if you're going for the first time, there's a few things that nobody really tells you, even if you researched it. And I tried, I did the best I could to ask my friends and all that. But so in today's episode, we're going to cover what the Arnold is really like, at least my impressions of it, what surprised me the most, how to navigate the expo floor without burning out, the biggest mistakes that I made, and I assume a lot of first timers will make, what stood out about the Arnold Classic competitions, and how to actually enjoy the event rather than just surviving it. So let's dive right in. Okay, so first part of this video is like you have to understand the scale. Let's talk about the scale of the Arnold, because the first thing that hits you when you walk into that expo center is this. It's the scale of it. Like most people imagine it like I guess like a bodybuilding show with a supplement expo attached. It's not even close to that. Okay, the Arnold Sports Festival includes like 80 or more like sports and competitions happening all at once. There are thousands of athletes. There's multiple venues across Columbus too, not just like the main areas. There's the massive expo hall, and I mean it is massive. And you're gonna see, as you're walking around, you're gonna see like power lifters warming up, strongmen carrying ridiculous objects, Olympic lifters chalking up. You're gonna see some bodybuilders walking around and they're peeled out of their minds. Even the average goers is like just peeled out of their minds. It looks great. Every supplement brand, every equipment manufacturer, and every fitness influencer in the world seems to show up. That's the other thing. Like everyone is there. And the first reaction that most people will have, which is what I did, even though I imagine it would be big, it's like, this is way bigger than I expected. So that leads to our first lesson, which is have a plan. If you walk in without a plan, you're going to spend half your day wandering around. Dude, grab the event map, download the app, okay? Check the schedule, know what you want to see, check the schedule with the app so that the app even tells you, it allows you to like pinpoint places on the map so you can find them, so it can guide you in real time, because there's no way you're going to randomly see everything you want to see just by wandering around. It's not going to happen. Your time there is short. Now, another thing that I wish I knew, or that I had figured out, and I'm sure it's a matter of me not asking the right questions, but the expo actually starts on Friday. So you want to travel there Thursday. Okay, you want to arrive Thursday if all you're doing is attending the expo and the events and so on. So Thursday's your travel day, so that they're ready to go. early Friday, because it's going to be Friday all day, Saturday all day, and Sunday all day. That's another thing. The Sunday, the wrap up day, I didn't realize how many activities and how much of the expo continues into Sunday. And if you're somebody's looking for the samples and the extra stuff, that the giveaways and all of that happens on Sunday. So you definitely don't want to fly out until Monday morning so that you can take absolute advantage of every vendor who at this point wants to give away their stuff so they don't carry it back home, because they brought it all the way. And the last thing they want to do is take all those samples and take them all right back. So that's one of the first tips that you get from me is arrive Thursday so you can rest, get the lay of the land, and then you can start strong like Friday. Friday is crazy on that floor. Saturday is insane on the floor. Now, Sunday, I wasn't able to go because, like I said, I booked my flight for like noon Sunday. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have read more in detail. Another important consideration. In 2027, they have recently announced, this week, as a matter of fact, right after the event, that they're adding an extra Thursday day. So that means that your travel day, 2027, is more likely going to be your Wednesday. That's going to be your travel and arrival day, so you can get, again, the lay of the land, and then a full day of the expo on Thursday, and just enjoy the expo so you can walk the whole floor, have a plan. There'll be events, I am sure, that they'll announce, all that good stuff. So then it becomes a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event. That's 4 full days, and believe me, that's a lot. It's going to be a lot. Okay, now let's talk about your expo floor strategy, okay? Because the expo floor is really the heart of the experience. You know, it's all there. These are all the vendors. It's all the booths, all the supplements, all the equipment, plus the meet and greets. It's like this ginormous space conference center, okay? And it is big and huge, and there's like probably hundreds really of booths and things to see, and it's crowded. So you're going to have some strategy to like attack all this. And it can definitely destroy your energy if you're not careful, because it's very crowded. It's hard to navigate. And if you're just wandering around, that happened to me the first day, you will get very, very tired very, very quickly. And that's probably the biggest mistake I can see most people making. It's trying to do everything all at once. So don't do that. Use the following. I recommend using next year. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a 2-pass strategy. The first pass is going to be recon. And that's where you just walk the whole floor. Don't stop everywhere. Just figure it out. You're figuring out the lay of the land, where the companies are, where the athlete appearances are happening that you might want to see, where the cool equipment you want to check out is, etc. The supplements you want to see. You're just getting, this is recon. You're just walking the floor just to get the lay of the land. Now, on your second pass, that's when you're going to do targeted visits. You're not going to wander the entire thing. You're going to go back and you're going to hit the booths that you actually care about. And this is when you're going to decide, your meet and greets, you meet the athletes. You're going to grab your samples. You're going to start filming content if you're a content person like me. You're going to talk to the companies, because you will have a chance. Most of them are very excited and eager to share their products and what they do. And it's an energized, exciting atmosphere. So people are super friendly. For how crowded it was, everyone was super polite. It wasn't rude at all. So anyway, this is, again, so the first pass, you do your recon, find out where things are, check with your map. And then on your second pass, now you're hitting exactly where you want to go. You've decided these are the places that, and prioritize them, the ones things I want to see the most. One tip, if you're into Young LA, that their area was ridiculously packed, and they did put an amazing show on. I mean, they had a DJ. It was like a 2-story experience. They had Ferraris parked. Very impressive. It was like a club in LA, literally. It was like a Young LA club, but very overwhelming. And a lot of people were frustrated because they were giving away, like, say, free T-shirts, and I heard more than I didn't get any, but more than one person being like, like the lines were like 2-3 hours long. So be prepared to deal with that. If it's a popular place that you're choosing, it's popular for a reason, and many other people will think it's popular. So, be ready for that. So let's see. Another big tip that I realized really quickly, man, wear some comfortable shoes. Okay. This place is perfect for t-shirts, comfortable, sweatpants, comfortable, and tennis shoes, walking shoes, running shoes, whatever, something comfortable, because you are going to end up walking miles inside that convention center without even trying. All right. Other things to bring for sure. At least this is what I brought, and it definitely served me well. Bring a backpack, mostly empty. You're gonna put samples in there, probably. Even on the first day, they're gonna give out some samples. Maybe not as many as Sunday, but you will get samples. There'll be stuff or stuff you buy, again. So have a backpack. Bring some water for sure. There are refilling stations throughout the expo, so you can refill your water bottles, if you bring water bottles, but bring the water. It is dry in there, it is hot, and you will dehydrate very quickly if you don't bring your water. So bring water. Also, bring snacks for sure, because even though there's going to be plenty of supplement companies and all that, there's only so many protein bars you can eat, okay? And you want to, especially, and food, honestly, if you're on prep or an athlete and you want to make sure to hit your macros, there are some food options inside the expo hall for sure, but there's not a ton in there. Okay, you'd have to walk outside the expo. There are plenty of restaurants in the within walking distance in the neighborhood, in the area, but that takes time away from the expo. So, if you want to bring food, bring your Tupperware or whatever, bring your chicken and rice or whatever it is you're going to bring, and bring snacks that you like, that you enjoy, so that you can avoid being desperate like I did the first couple of days, where let me just buy an overpriced protein bar because I didn't think it through. So, another thing, bring a phone charger. Yes, there are places you can charge and plug your phone on the outside, outside of the expo hall that I saw, and I used, but there's not a ton of them, and then you're beholden to being stuck to a wall for an hour. Don't do that. Bring your own phone charger, so that you can, an extra battery that you can plug in, because you'll need it. Another thing, you will definitely want to buy and be ready for it, because it's expensive. It's $50 a day, but the Expo Wi-Fi, I highly recommend it. If you're in any way, shape, or form involved with social media like I am, or your friends and you need communication, that kind of stuff, it's worth every penny, because it actually works okay, but it is super overpriced, because you're going to spend $50 a day on Wi-Fi access. I think there was a 1 and a 2 day pass. I'm gonna see. I mean, I guess we'll see next year, since it's a 4 day event, if they have some kind of price scale structure package. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But be ready for that. If you're somebody who needs to be online, needs to be connected, that's an expense. It doesn't matter. I have T-Mobile, which has great coverage everywhere, and it was almost useless inside that hall. So be aware. All right, now let's talk about meeting people, because you're here to meet people, not just to see stuff. All right, and one of the coolest things about the Arnold is how accessible people are. They are all right there. I'm going to see if I can put some pictures in post-production here or throughout this video, so you see some of the people I met just randomly walking around. You'll be walking to the expo and suddenly realize you're standing next to someone that you admire for years, that you never thought you'd meet in person, and you will. This will happen. Arnold walks the floor. Arnold was 10 feet away from me more than once. Okay. And he's got a security detachment, and he attracts everybody. When Arnold's around, it's like a buzz of activity. It's like this hive, and you could see it. So whoever and whatever is happening literally stops when he's around. And that's just Arnold. There's hundreds of celebrities. If you're into this industry, if you're into fitness and all that, hundreds of these folks walking around just like regular. So be ready for that, because the Arnold attracts everyone. Olympia champions, strongman legends, elite coaches, major influencers. And I mean major influencers. You will randomly, I personally saw, again, I've met Ronnie Coleman right there, the man. Jay Cutler was 10 feet away at the Young LA booth. Brian Shaw, probably meet him. I didn't see him, but I heard that he was around. Maybe I'm wrong. Sam Sulek was definitely there more than once. And there's going to be a ton of IFBB pros again wandering the floor. I got to meet in person and talk to Brendan Hendrickson. He told me I'm jacked and juicy, which is great at my age. It was like the highlight of my of my trip, because when the winner of the 2026 Arnold Men's Physique, the top dog, tells you that you're in good shape and you're 54, you take that as a win. You take that compliment, okay? So anyway, when you meet these people, when you're hanging around, just remember, the key is respect. These athletes are, more often than not, they're going to be filming some content. They're going to be working the booths. They're going to be doing meet and greets. They're going to be exhausted from traveling. If they're competing, even more so. So most of them are incredibly cool with the fans. I did not have a single negative experience with anyone I met there. But be respectful of their time. Don't try and hog their time. Remember, there's going to be dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people that want to meet them too. So, keep it brief, keep it to the point, say what you need to say, have a brief conversation, but definitely, be mindful of their time. That's my advice to anyone and everybody. All right, let's talk about the strongman and strength events, what little I saw. And the Arnold Strongman Classic is one of the most intense strength competitions in the world, from what I saw. They're some of the strongest humans on the earth, and they are moving ridiculous amounts of weight. I saw a tiny little girl that could not have been 80, 90 pounds, deadlifting 185 pounds. That is crazy. And that's just one example. I saw some lady, probably middle-aged, if I had to guess, maybe 5'4", maybe 130 pounds, deadlifting like 4 plates. So it's there's some crazy stuff that you're gonna see. You're gonna see axle presses, you're gonna see giant frame carries, stone lifts, all this crazy strongman stuff, some insane deadlifting for sure. And the crowd energy is wild. You will hear it from across the expo when people are doing the things that they do. It's very loud, it's very primal, and it honestly feels like you're watching a bunch of Vikings compete in a berserker match, or you're at the Roman Colosseum. That's what the vibe is like. Okay. So if you love strength sports, these events are worth the trip by themselves. I'm not an expert at all. I'm not even like a huge strongman fan per se. I don't know anything. And it was very exciting to see that. So, all right, now let's talk about the bodybuilding. What I was there for, what most of us are there for. And let's talk about the highlights. Again, I am relatively new to the sport, but I'm learning. And let me give you some impressions, So the bodybuilding side of the Arnold brings some of the best physiques in the world, as we know, because it's an invitational. So, it was stacked this year. So let's break down what I'll just stick to the big 3 men's divisions, just because that's kind of like what I'm more familiar with, and I don't want to do a disservice to because I did see some incredible fit model and bikini models, and they were incredible. I just don't know enough about those categories to give you intelligent commentary, but those athletes were amazing. Those ladies put in the work, and you could see it. And it was truly, truly, truly astounding. So I'm going to break it down for people who may be new to the sport. This might be a good little intro or primer as to like what to watch, what to expect. So first, let's talk the categories. The first one, the one that everyone, the big guys, it's the open bodybuilding, okay? Men's open, absolutely the headline event at the Arnold. And this is where the biggest and most complete physiques in the world will battle it out. And at the Arnold, the judging tends to reward, from what I saw, they're looking for balance, conditioning, and structure, not just mass. It's not just being a size monster. That's a factor, but it's not the factor from what we saw. And that makes the Arnold a little unique. It's a little bit different, the judging criteria, it seems, from other places. Again, I am new to the sport. I could be wrong. I could be talking out of my ass for all I know. But that's the impression I got, that they made the athletes pose and compare, and they moved them around a lot to make sure that they were getting the best views. The show itself is run like clockwork. It's beautifully run. It's incredible. So, and that makes the Arnold unique. It's not like this extended thing like the Olympia that can go on for hours and hours because there's so many people. This thing is run like a show for entertainment. So, anyway, physiques that are big into fullness, symmetry, sharp conditioning, stage presence, actually, your presentation, they tend to do very well here. And the stage lighting and proximity to the audience also makes a huge difference. I could see everything perfectly from my seat. It was perfect. There were no issues with the lighting or anything like that. The backdrop was bright enough that you could see the physiques without being distracting, without taking away. So, I mean, it was incredibly well done. And I mean, it was phenomenal. So, okay, so we talked about the open class. These are the big mass monsters, the biggest guys. Then there's classic physique, which is one of the most popular divisions in bodybuilding today. And the Arnold stage really highlights this classic aesthetic, probably because Arnold is an example of like that very classic physique. Think Franco Colombo, that. Here, the judges are looking for the X frame, what they call the X frame, right? Like, the wide shoulders, tiny waist, big legs. That vacuum waist, the sweeping quads that have that outside sweep, very clean lines. This division has it has that well, again, it's classic. It's that old bodybuilding look. Again, think of Frank Zane and people from that era. That kind of aesthetic. That it wasn't just like huge, mass, ginormous, mutant-looking guys, but very balanced. Think like Greek statues, almost like really jacked Greek statues. And the crowd really, I feel like they like classic because it does blend size, proportion, and presentation really well. It tends to be a little bit more artistic rather than brute force, like open. And you'll hear definitely some of the loudest reactions I noticed at the classic routines because they tend to be, it felt to me, again, as a beginner, like they were a little bit more artsy, maybe a little bit more of a show, really. Whereas the open guys were more of a comparison between each other of sheer size and brutality, if you had to. And then there's the division that's my personal, the one I like the best so far, because it's the one I can compete in, and it's men's physique. And men's physique continues to grow in popularity every year. It's the newest of the divisions. The Arnold stage is very competitive for this division. And now, what's different about men's physique, you ask? So it's all about that shoulder width. You have to look like a Dorito. You want shoulder width. You want a very tight waist, upper body symmetry, and stage presence. Legs are not quite as important, if at all. They wear swim trunks, okay, instead of the posing trunks. So legs are not, like quite as much of a factor as they are in open and classic. And the look tends to be more like lean, athletic, and marketable. Think like male GQ model kind of a look. It's kind of like that, like not super humongous. They're still big though. I mean, don't get me wrong. These dudes are huge compared to the average person. They're just not as huge as, say, a classic competitor or an open competitor. And what really stands out to me, or one thing that, and it was very, very noticeable this year, is that the conditioning and polish of these athletes is incredible. Like every small detail matters in this division. Like everything, like the grooming, the tan, like everything, the posing transitions, that confidence on stage, that overall presentation, because you're not relying on just that sheer mass and volume and shape, right? You don't have that to fall back on. So at this level, the physiques are so close too, because of the competitors and the what the judges are looking for, that the presentation can definitely decide the placing. You can bring a great package, you don't present it well, it's gonna cost you. So now let's talk about the results. Some of the results, just very in brief, for 2026. So the Arnold has a reputation for rewarding complete physiques. Again, symmetry, conditioning, stage presence, and not just raw mass. And this year they delivered for sure, with some huge battles across the men's divisions. And let's break it down by category with very brief just commentary. And then I'm not going to do that here, but you can go across YouTube. There's hundreds of videos where you can see the actual highlights of how they competed, how they posed, how this went down. But anyway, the top 5 results in 2026 were: number 5 was Brandon Curry. He looked amazing, for the record. Brandon looked incredible. His legs look incredible. He's over 40, and his legs got bigger and better, which is incredibly rare. Martin Fitzwater plays solidly 4th. You know, he started tied. I think he got a little weaker as the as the evening went by. But again, there can be only one, like in Highlander, right? One winner. So, and then the rest are like, second, third, fourth. So 4th was Martin. Number 3 was Hadi Chupan, who was like the favorite coming into it, before it all started. I think he was favored to win. He was great, but he wasn't as good as the other 2, which are number 2, Nick Walker, which my personal favorite. He could have won it, I think. I feel it could have gone his way. It was very, very, very tight between Nick and the actual winner, who was Andrew Jacked. Andrew Jacked, who looked, his posing was great. His energy was great. He was phenomenal. So was Nick, for that matter. I think it honestly came down to like minutiae at that point. At prejudging, I had Nick ahead, in my opinion, but I can see the win by the end of the night, with Andrew. It was a hell of a show because his physique, I mean, he had massive width. He had some elite level conditioning and incredible back development. The back posters, I think, were a huge factor, which separated him from the rest of the field for sure. Nick pushed him hard, though, because Nick is super dense and his conditioning, that grainy conditioning was incredible. And Hadi, I mean, he did have that detail and hardness. It just wasn't enough this time, to compete with the other 2. But the lineup itself is interesting because it was, lots of former champions, some rising stars, some fan favorites. It was good. And hey, let's face it, Andrew Jack winning shows how fast the next generation of open bodybuilding is rising. So he's one to look out for, and there's more coming up, which is great. The sport is in a very good place, I think, as far as the open division goes. Now let's talk about classic physique. So the top 5 results, starting from the 5th, was Jorge Herrera, who was phenomenal. Classic physique is very popular. Like I said, the Arnold stage always emphasizes the golden era aesthetic. And Wesley, I'm get ahead of myself. Kim Angel, great all around balance. This cat could win any show anywhere else, and he came in number 4 because it was that tight. I think the competition, it was like that tight in the top 5. Number 3 was Andrea Mamoli. He was great. He presented incredibly well. Great energy on stage, smooth it could be. Number 2 and 1. Now, these guys were, I thought during prejudging, were very, very close. But by the end of judging, clearly the winner had kind of risen a little bit, head over shoulders. So number 2, Mateus Menagate. And the winner was Wesley Vissers, which was the right call. It was the only call to make in this case. In this case, it's no doubt. It was the right call. I mean, he took the win because he brought a physique that looked like it. I mean, it looked straight out of the 70s, okay? Classic structure, the wide shoulders, the tight vacuum waist. The posing was super polished. I mean, he embodies the classic look that this division is designed to reward. So, he just did it, and he nailed everything. He nailed the size, he nailed the proportion, he nailed the presentation. When you do that, it's hard to beat. That's all there is to it. So now Menagate gave him a very good run for his money. That guy bears watching. Sebum Jr. is what I heard him, or Brazilian Sebum is what I heard. A lot of people call him. He looked great. He looked phenomenal. All right, now let's talk men's physique. So even though my heart really wanted Emmanuel Hunter to win, he came in 3rd. Let's do like I did before, from the 5th up. The 5th was Dilson Espindola Silva, and it was, by the way, the top 5 was super tight. The top 5 was like, this could have gone to anybody. It was just like, you make a mistake here, you drop. It was that close at that level, those top 5. I mean, Brandon, ultimately, let's just cut to the chase. Brandon Hendrickson won it, and won it well. He outposted everybody. His physique was phenomenal. He's come up a lot. He looked incredible. His package was super polished, incredible. I mean, what stood out to me was his shoulder width, the tight waist, the conditioning was so clean, and the stage presence. He just exuded confidence, And I think the Hendrickson seemed to get even harder as the comparisons progressed, which helped him pull ahead, I think. Vitor Chavez and Emmanuel Hunter, they pushed him hard through the show, though. They gave him a run. They forced multiple comparisons during judging. They were back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And at this level of men physiques, the physiques are so close that what decided the winner is all of it: presentation, posing, and polish. That's what decided the winner. So anyway, the quick takeaway for fans is this. Really interesting trend across divisions. New contenders are definitely rising fast. You still have established names like Hadi. You have Brandon Curry and Brandon Hendrickson. Let's not forget that he's been around for a while. But you're also seeing the emergence of the next generation like Andrew Jack, Wesley, and Vitor Chavez, who are relatively newer. And that makes the lead up to the 2026 Olympia. It's going to be very interesting this year. It's going to absolutely be very, very, very interesting. So anyway, that's my takeaway as a novice to the sport, and having witnessed my first Arnold. That's kind of where I'm at. All right, so now let's talk about things that first timers like me do wrong and did wrong. So let's see. Mistake number 1, not planning the day. I did not plan it, and the Arnold is way too big to improvise. So if you wander aimlessly, you're going to miss half the events you wanted to see. I did miss a few meet and greets and so on because of that, because I frankly did not plan it. I did not plan it well. So, again, don't make the mistake I made. Plan your day. Make sure you have clarity on where the meets and greets are going to be so you can be there and you can meet the people you want to meet. Mistake number 2, underestimating the crowd. Saturday was absolute chaos. It was insane in there. So you have to be ready to be polite, because you're going to have to expect some lines. The big athlete meet and greets can take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes longer before you even get like that 10-second moment to get the picture with your athlete. So be ready for that. Be mentally prepared, because there's hundreds of people just like you, just like me, trying to like get those pictures and those signatures. So be aware. Another mistake, taking every supplement sample. As a first timer, I hit every booth sample, every single one. And the next thing you know, I'm taking like 4 pre-workouts and 3 energy drinks and a fat burner. And my heart rate is like 140 just standing around. So pace yourself, be careful. Remember, a lot of these things are stimulants and so forth. So be aware. Don't be an asshole. Be smart. Okay. Mistake number 4, not eating real food. Samples are not meals, and eventually you will crash. You'll get super hungry. Plan for real meals, because if you plan for like crappy food from there, you are going to eat some high sodium, high calorie crap that is not good for you. And you're going to be tired, and you're going to be holding water, and it's going to be terrible. Which leads to mistake number 5, which I never had so bad as I did this trip. Maybe because I'm older, maybe because I'm more in tune with my body now. But I will say this: travel edema is a thing, okay? Because of high carbs and too much walking, too. So remember, at the Arnold, you're going to be traveling and flying. You're going to be sitting for long periods. You're going to have dramatically increased walking in most cases. And you're going to have way higher carb and sodium intake, because there's a bunch of crap that's available to you. Okay? That combination can cause temporary water retention, especially in the ankles and lower legs. That happened to me. It was crazy. You'll notice your ankles looking puffier than usual. It's common. Like I said, it's a mixture of travel, high carbs, sodium, long hours on your feet. So stay hydrated. Walk when you're flying. Try and stand up if they let you walk up and down the aisle maybe once an hour. Elevate your legs at the hotel when you get back. Wear some compression socks when you're traveling because, I mean, within a day or two, it took 3 days for my water levels to flush all that excess water. I also ate like an asshole. I mean, I was eating like 3 waffles for breakfast and stuff, which I never do because I treated it as a vacation. That was a mistake. So don't do what I did, okay? Like, watch your diet a little bit. Mind your diet, have a plan. You'll be fine. All right, now let's talk about networking and opportunities. If you're in the fitness industry or if you're into podcasting, social media like I am here, the Arnold is a gold mine for networking because you're going to meet supplement brand owners, you're going to meet the athletes, you're going to meet coaches, content creators, gym equipment manufacturers. A lot of partnerships and collaborations can start at events like this. So if you're a content creator or coach, come prepared, have your social media ready, know who you want to meet, and have a plan, just like you would meet anybody else. And have your plan of what it is you're going to say, how you're going to introduce yourself, and so on. If you're there for the networking, I know that I got to meet more than a few people that hopefully we'll be doing some podcasting together soon. And you'll see it on this channel, hopefully. But anyway, more on that later. So, another thing that was remarkable that I want to like just make sure to mention is the energy level of this event. It stands out. The atmosphere really stands out because for a few days, I mean, it feels like that entire city is filled with people obsessed with training, discipline, strength, self-improvement. Everyone that shares that mindset, everybody there seems to be like a high performer, and that energy is super contagious and it's super fun and it's a very charged atmosphere. So, what does that mean? It means you're going to be very excited throughout the day. It's very energetic. You will crash in the evening because you will be so hyped that that's what's going to happen. So, anyway, let's see. I think I covered just about everything that I can think of that might be interesting for a first timer to be aware of. So hopefully, these tips help you out. You know, if you're passionate about strength sports or bodybuilding, I mean, the Arnold is something you have to experience at least one time. It really is that special. It's chaotic, it's loud, it's crowded, but it's one of the most inspiring events that I've been to. And as far as I can tell in the fitness world, it's incredible. So for a few days in Columbus, I mean, the entire world revolves around strength. And if you love this lifestyle, that's a pretty incredible thing. You know, it really is. So in any case, thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, share with someone who's thinking about going to the Arnold for the first time. Maybe some of these tips will help you have a more enjoyable experience. And remember, strength, discipline, and progress are built one day at a time. This is Rise 41. Find the results and some commentary like later uh, and put your commentary, I'm sorry, in the comments below. I'm going to have some notes, some extra information for you to read. Hopefully in post-production, we'll have some pictures as I speak that will make this like less dry. And again, I hope that you enjoyed this, that it was fun. And yeah, have a wonderful day. I hope you decide to go and experience it like I did. I definitely have no regrets, and I will hopefully be going back next year. It was that good. I got to meet a lot of friends, a lot of great people, and the experience was second to none. So, highly recommended. And with that, thank you, everybody. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Ring the bell, hype button. And thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with us. Gonzo, Rise 41,